Hi, I'm Wolverine. You should go see my new movie, The Wolverine. If you don't, I'll cut you.
My employer wants to say thank you for saving his life all those years ago.
Run, now!
There is a time when our enemies knew honor. I wanted to offer you something no one else can. A gift. You have struggled long enough.
The Wolverine. Okay, The Wolverine stars Hugh Jackman, is directed by James Mangold, and this movie has been highly anticipated for me when I heard it was announced, because in 2009 when X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, that movie was... It was a piece of dog poo. It's a fresh piece of dog poo that I never wanted to see or smell again. But everything that I heard about the Wolverine, the images, the set photos, the trailers, the news, everything about it just looks like a fun time at the movies and action-packed and a good story. And I was very excited. So what the Wolverine is about is that it takes place after X-Men 3. X-Men 3 The Last Stand. And X-Men 3 was okay to me. Wasn't that big of a fan of it. I liked the first two better than the third one, of course. Not a lot of people agreed with the third one. Not a lot of people liked it. But you know what? It was a decent film, but it wasn't the worst film that you could imagine. Like, X-Men Origins Wolverine sucked, but X-Men 3 was not that bad. But like I said, it takes place, the Wolverine takes place after X-Men 3, and Jean Grey died in X-Men 3. Wolverine feels very responsible for it, and yes, Jean Grey appears in this movie, in the Wolverine somehow, but I'm not going to tell you how, but it is pretty cool to see her back sometimes in this movie. But Wolverine feels responsible for killing Jean, and so he keeps having these weird things going on with him. He's having these dreams and other things, like he's having these memories of Jean, and he's like, oh my god, I killed Jean. He just has this regret on him, waiting on his shoulders. And the movie's based around way back then. That's one of the storylines. Way back then, the Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's character, he saved this Japanese guy because this big blast came by and he ran and covered the shield over him so he wouldn't die. And he saved his life. So like many years later, it's a lot of years later, this Japanese girl comes up to the Wolverine and is like, look, that guy that you saved many years ago, he wants you to come down to Japan and he wants to say thank you and goodbye because he's on his deathbed. So what does the Wolverine do? He goes to Japan, and when he goes to Japan, this is what the guy tells him. He meets the guy and he's like, look, Logan, here's the thing. I'm about to die, and you've always wanted to be immortal. You've always wanted to be a human. You lived a long enough life. And what I want to do for you is that I want you to give me your powers, your Wolverine powers, so I can live for the rest of my life. And you can go on as a human. You can die eventually. And Wolverine's like, wait, what? No, that's what? No, I kind of want these powers now. And that's what the movie lets off. And this is where stuff gets real. This whole movie, the plot and everything is great to me. And the action scenes are filmed great. I've had a great time with this movie. The dialogue is decent enough for a Wolverine movie. The acting is spot on for Hugh Jackman. And like I said, the Japanese characters in this movie, you know, they're just unknown people that I do not, really know. So they just did what they had to do. But the villain, the main villain in this, the chick, she's like some Viper chick. She's just there to be a huge villain, I guess. She's a B-movie villain. That's all I can really say about her. I mean, I really didn't like her. Like, she wasn't menacing to me in this movie. She really wasn't like, ooh, I can see her doing all these bad things. She was just a B-movie villain. She was just there to be there. But besides that, the Wolverine is a fun time at the movies. And that's 2 thumbs up. I go to the movies, have a very fun experience, and I loved the crap out of this movie. This movie is amazing, it's fun, it's exciting, and these scenes where Wolverine's fighting the ninjas is great. And this movie takes twists and turns that you do not expect it to take, and that's what I like about the Wolverine. The Wolverine is spot on what I wanted it to be. It led up to my expectations. I walked out of this movie with a big smile on my face. I'm a fan of the X-Men series. I walked out, I was cheesing like a little kid. I was so happy. And let me say that there is an after credit scene that you need to stay for. Oh my god. I will talk about the scene, the spoilers coming up soon from this video. But like I said, The Wolverine, it's a great time at the movies. I love this movie to death. It's definitely a Blu-ray buy for me. 2 thumbs up. Great time. Definitely go see it if you haven't seen it. If you're a fan of X-Men, even if you're not a fan of X-Men, go check it out. And I really don't think you need to see X-Men 3 to understand the Wolverine. Honestly, check it out, and I think this is a great standalone Wolverine film, and I give this movie a 9 out of 10. There's a little bit of a flaw that I couldn't agree with around the end of the movie, but I don't want to talk about it, but that's why I gave it a 9 out of 10, but definitely the Wolverine deserves a 9 out of 10. I've had a great time with the Wolverine. That's all I gotta say for the Wolverine. I give it a 9 out of 10. That's all I gotta say. Now, this portion of the review will be spoilers. I'm going to talk about the after credit scene, and trust me, you don't want to know what happens in this after credit scene unless you don't care about spoilers. So if you don't, here's some spoilers. The after credit scene starts off 2 years later after what happened to Wolverine, and Wolverine's in an airport, and he's putting stuff down, and I don't know where all these magnetic things start shaking, and Wolverine's like, what? He turns around and sees somebody, and it's Magneto. It's Magneto. And I was in my seat like, what? It's Magneto. Like, I was freaking out like a little kid. I was so happy. And I was like, how is this possible? So Magneto was like, he was explaining these things to him, and he was telling him a story. Out of nowhere, you start hearing this wheelchair roll up. And then Wolverine turns around, and the time freezes and everything, and then he looks. It's Professor X. Oh my god, and he died, just to let you know, in X-Men 3. He was dead. He's back. And if you don't get what's going on yet, this is setting up for X-Men Days of Future Past, which I've been so excited for, which is directed by Bryan Singer. And X-Men Days of Future Past, if you don't know what it's about, definitely go look it up and learn about it, because if you're an X-Men fan, even if you're not an X-Men fan, check this out. Man, that after credit scene got me so pumped for the movie, and I just can't wait. I give the Wolverine 9 out of 10. Like I said, it was a great time with the movies. That's all I gotta say. This is Movie Madness Reviews, signing out.
That day ain't here yet.